Welcome everyone, this is our first edition of Stream Series. Tonight we'll be talking about small gang PvP and fighting outnumbered mainly. I'll start with a quick presentation. So with us we have currently Xancha Vala, myself Cornel Zizora, and Mekor from Death from Above. So Mek, if you want to give us a quick presentation.
Yes, alright, thanks for hosting me, and my alliance just restarted not long ago. Before I was in Kadeshi, and I must say that alliance was, it's all about like the people that are motivated, like the camaraderie and all that stuff. And you're laughing, Cornel? No, sorry. No, thing is like, it's I've been in a couple of alliances in the past. And I must say that after Insurgency, I like it, my alliance Death from Above as secondary the best. Death from Above was, as a matter of fact, like an alliance that came forward from Insurgencies, has been given me as a gift. And all the people there, had all the same goal, PvPing and having fun. That's the most important thing. You play the damn game to have fun. So, like... Death from Above, it went good and all that stuff in the past. We hold the 10 systems, building supercaps, work together with Atlas, and at some point Atlas collapsed, internal disputes. So Death from Above then, I must say a couple of people panicked, but they all left on good terms, I must say. After that, I joined Kadeshi. It's a damn awesome alliance. And I tried some other things before though, but Kadeshi is like camaraderie, damn good. Yeah, the people there are damn awesome. It's like not screaming FCs and all that stuff. The mentality is there, very damn awesome. And although now at the moment I'm in Death from Above again, because like although I like those people damn crazy a lot, I said like to myself, let's try once again to revive my own alliance, Death from Above. It's my little child, and all that stuff. So far, so good. Well, sometimes I'm thinking like it could go better. Sometimes, we already made the next step. But eventually, we're gonna try to get there. And as I heard that this is about small gang PvPing, that's exactly what we are aiming for with my new alliance, restarted alliance, Death from Above.
Alright. Thank you very much. Can you tell us a few words, Xancha?
I'm Xancha Vala. I'm sure some of you know me. I'm currently in RvB on one of my characters. I first started playing the game as a Care Bear for a few years. My first PvP experience was a friend of mine going criminal to just being silly, webbing one of my little terrible ships when he was in a Legion and getting concorded. And then I just learned the concept of when you lose stuff like that, it's gone forever, so I decided to start cooking up a character for RvB. But at the same time, I went into nullsec. I lived in the middle of nowhere, did some small gang stuff, I ran mostly tackle because I had a relatively young character. From there I left because I didn't really enjoy nullsec. Went back to care bearing until I came to RvB, where I found my home, having a great time. And that's about the history of my EVE career. It's pretty short.
That sounds great. Alright, so as of myself, I'm pretty sure you guys also know me. My name is Cornel Azizora. I'm a nullsec FC primarily, that's where I learned to FC. Currently in RvB as well. And I'll be hosting these events, hopefully, for the rest of their duration. So to start and begin with, as I mentioned before, there will be prizes at the end of the stream regarding best questions, best answer, etc, etc. The schedule is kind of easy. We'll be going through a couple of subjects and topics, and at the end there will be a Q&A around 45 minutes into it. then the last 15 minutes will be reserved to the Q&A and prizes. So without further ado, let's start with our first subjects, which is ship setups regarding small gang PvP. So what is the most suited ship setup, long range DPS, active tank, passive tank, whatever you can think. What do you guys think, Mekor?
Yes, well, I can comment on that one. Must say, gentlemen, the listeners, that it's a bit old school style, but like for, yeah, in my case, now and then, solo PvPing or stuff like that, or like with a couple of buddies, I would say close range hang tank. And as I'm, call me sometimes wrong, but I like Kaldari. Their shield setups, swallowing the damn blue pill, you know it, gentlemen. It's a cap injector, so my setup is done. And yeah, well, look it up. I actually, as a matter of fact, lost one today, but yeah, of course, against a gang squad. It's an old school setup, but thing is, in the past it worked tons, loads of times, just not now anymore, but thing is like, you have to fight on gates, like because my setup is 5 neutron blasters, 2 medium NOS, extra large shield booster, yes gentlemen, extra large shield booster tech 2, 2, if I can recall, could it be 2 times envelope fields, I think, yeah, cap injector, web, and scram, yeah. Then 1 damage modifier and 3 power diagnostics and 2 rigs for EM. So yeah, a lot of people say like, yeah, why don't you go for the damn large shield extenders? Well, I count on damn resistance, like it uses med slots, the large shield extenders, so I go for the resistance, and then overloading the damn envelope fields, yeah, together with the extra large shield booster Rec 2 and swallowing a blue pill. If you have good skills for that, you might not get so much penalties. Also some people might ask, why do you not have propulsion? Yeah, that's a risk I take. I fight on the gate. Sometimes I arrive at the damn gate. There are a couple there, couple hostiles, and they aggress me. I jump through, one jumps with me on the other side. I go back to the gate, try to kill him. Tank up as the other ones try to kill me. And so and forth, like trying to decimate a small gang squad one by one. Like sometimes I see it fit to attack on a gate, depending on what ships they have. But my worst fear, and that's a damn worst fear, is always a falcon. Yeah.
Alright, well I've pulled up your kill here on the stream. So as you mentioned, we're going here with heavy neutron blasters, power drains.
5, yes.
Yep, you went with extra large shield booster fit and a shield tank, so definitely an active tanking ship. Would you recommend this type of setup for sort of experienced players, or obviously it's a vulture, so it's going to be more advanced?
Well, the Sheppy as it is fitted does 650 DPS, but I would not recommend that certain setup for, well, how can you say, I got everything maximum skilled, but it's also a roll of the dice. It's like you do not panic at battle, but sometimes if you meet a damn gang squad, you're there and you're done.
There's not much
can be done very fast. But on some occasions, if you meet a small gang squad, you can there rape them one by one. Like you rape one, and if you see your tank holds it easily, you rape another one. And then you can tank them up if they have reinforcements. The other ones are still aggressive, jump through the gate, re-approach, try to rape their one. You have to be on the damn spot, like immediately thinking, what am I gonna do? Like, right. Is it really still worth of keeping on the fight or getting away? But the tank is quite the damn vulture, yeah. Some people say it doesn't do enough DPS, but gentlemen, I must say 650 DPS is not bad though. Yeah. With Void it has about a range of I think 11 kilometers.
So you're
Overloading.
pretty much focused on higher tank and higher DPS.
Yes, higher tank, higher DPS, all only fighting around gates or a station. Do not ever go with that setup to a belt if you're alone, because you will not hit them. It has a scrambler, so they fly around you at 20 kilometers, holding you down till reinforcements arrive. You will never get away anymore.
Sounds great. Xancha, what type of ships do you usually fly, setup-wise?
In small gang versus a larger fleet, there's two tactics that I normally deploy. You either use fast range ships like caracals, rail thoraxes, things of that nature, or smaller, like Tau Wars, things that can get in, hit, and then warp off if you need. Important things with those is sometimes with a thorax you need like a cap booster to keep it going so that you can run permanently. You want to control your range, be able to hit, between at least, mid-20s to 40 at least. That way you can apply damage but still have long points when you need them. The other fun tactic is to take a tanky ship like the one that he showed and use that as bait, because a lot of times if you drop something big and shiny as bait on people and then let him get their aggression, people don't notice that other things are warping in, and they'll try and break something that they might not be able to or will take a long time, while you use other brawling ships as support, or there again you can use kiters around the edges and pick off their support ships and then start eating away at their DPS.
So always keep yourself within a sort of range to have an exit point. So either on a gate or in a warpable range, out of tackle range.
Definitely, because if you're outnumbered, the last thing you want to do is have your entire fleet get web scrammed down, because then it's just a matter of time before a larger number, even if they're in smaller ship classes, will just, for every one you lose, it's like killing a few of them. It's more important when one dies on your side.
Right, so you want to keep your numbers stable and keep an exit point.
Exactly.
Sounds good. So mainly long range, probably missiles. We could also do tornadoes, I guess, if you are a small gang tornado sniping thing down.
Cordial?
Yes, go ahead.
Can I there, can you put that linky on Twitch? That's the power of the damn vulture.
Yeah, hang on.
So gentlemen, yeah, that's like a standing off a vulture against so-called, yeah.
Yeah, so here we go, we got it on the stream.
And there is second one.
So what it looks like is a Armageddon battleship 1v1 against the same vulture that he linked. Seems to have gone 77,000 damage taken from the vulture.
Yeah, I must say it took a long time to go through his passive tank, but yeah, well, on that certain day I was top killer on Pandemic Legion, their own kill boards, and there is another one with an Astarte. Yeah, but that one took the vulture chewed through him slowly, but it went through it. Yeah, the same setup as I had, just, well, the one I lost today.
And in that case, we can definitely see the difference between an active tank
so a
and
close
a
range
passive one.
vulture with neutrons, I out-tanked him, so that's what I want with the damn vulture. A lot of people might not believe it, but yeah, well... it's an underestimated ship, and that's somehow, yeah, why I like it.
And like you said, it's a very important way to pick where you're fighting. Because you said things like, you have to pick your fights when you're going undermanned, so you pick someplace optimal for you that makes them come in closer somewhat, because they'll probably be jumping through a gate. You're not going to just warp at the Celestial and hope for the best.
Yeah,
Cool.
exactly. You're right there. It's like you have to be very picky with the fights in a vulture, like warping to an asteroid belt or someone doing there an escalation or whatever. Yeah, it's you always want to fight with the damn vulture if you're alone. Yeah, it can be used as bait too, but you always want to fight on a station. But the gate, I prefer the gates. Like there is
Alright.
always like tanking. If you, yeah, that's the thing with the vulture. It has a huge tank. Suddenly you see like you're digging, yeah, getting a lot of damage. Then you tank the 1 minute and jump through.
Sounds great. So we'll just start moving on. So what do you guys recommend has a competing stable amount of people for small gang fleets? We've seen some 1v1, but say you're in a different scenario and you're fighting against 20 people, and would you recommend more of the 5-man group or 10-man group? Considering logistics, stamps, EWA, and DPS?
Well, the more the merrier normally. But if you get too big of a fleet, you'll scare them off. So probably around a 10-man fleet, and if you bring the proper support, a lot of times you'll have to scout their fleet so you know exactly what you might need to bring, because you don't want to show up with like too many tracking disruptors if they're a missile fleet. But the key thing is to counter. If you're going to do that, you have to counter specific ships. You know, if they have like a Celestis or something like that, you have to. Sometimes it helps a lot to bring a smaller thing, like, you know, a Mollusk, because it can lock it quicker and get you can get your E-War out before they can get theirs. I don't know if you guys watched the Alliance tournament, but in a lot of the matches, that was a big thing. Like, the smaller ships could lock quicker and just lock down the larger E-War ships. Plus, they're faster, so they're harder to catch and kill off the field.
Right.
Yeah, like for a 10B gang, yeah, there I would say like, well, of course, I always prefer shields, yeah, and like as a Kaldari dude. But thing is, like a Falcon, well, yeah, Basilisks, no. I would the Minotaur one. Shit, can't come on the name. Scimitar, could it be? So two
Logistic
Logis, yeah, two Logis, a Falcon. 2 scouts, and the rest, then, yeah, like a booster, like, no, I would not say booster, a damn eagle, but the rest, the 4 of the rest there, yeah, shields, DPS. Like, I would be in a 10-man gang, probably, yeah, an eagle, and Salok, and Sapop. Yeah, that stuff.
Alright. And what kind of doctrines would you usually recommend flying? We've seen a lot of DPS. There was consideration about tornadoes, you know, alpha tornadoes. In the past, I know that I've often roamed into RTKs before CCP totally raped them. So obviously there's some new concepts. We've seen a lot of the Mulder wall in RvB, although they also lack in DPS. What do you guys recommend as far as doctrines?
Well, as doctrines for me, that would be at least 2 lodges and Nagasaki Nagas, they call it them, and good old Kadeshi, yeah. But I'm still a bit doubting, yeah, shit. The Real type, 350s, probably, yeah. And of course some jamming power, yeah, and they they are very hard hitters.
Sounds great.
I found, from my personal experience when fighting Outnumbered, shield fleets that are fast. You have to be able to be agile so that you can get warp ins, warp outs, reposition your fleet. So I would recommend mid-sized ships with shield fit, yeah.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, exactly, because like as Santa says, there also, as a matter of fact, a quite, yeah, not sure if it's popular these times, but MOA fleets. Holy shit, I mean.
Yep, I remember the more fleets. Yeah.
Not sure if they're still rolling, because like coming from the Kadeshi to my alliance restarting and like having minimum PvP, matter of fact, yeah, not that much, just roaming the choke points. I have not seen like crazy, I must say, gentlemen, like not long ago there were fleets, everyone flew the same. Everyone the same. So maybe I'm a bit outdated, but not sure if they are still doing that. Like flying everyone Muas, or everyone Ishtars, or everyone Vexers.
I guess it also depends on the type of doctrine. If you're flying a full gang DPS covered fleet, or if you're flying a long-range sniping like the Alpha NATOs, you're not really going to need any logistics, or maybe a few tackle, but apart from that, it's pretty much going to be, you know, Alpha DPS. I also remember the Gila fleets that Nola Secondary used to run, or maybe they still run them, but the Gila fleets are doing a tremendous amount of DPS for the amount of they are, so they can easily gank something and still come out alive.
I remember back in the damn past that everyone, the doctrine, in my former alliance was like, everyone fly this ship, fly that, like Vexers, everyone into Muas. Then suddenly Naga, they called it, and yeah, well, but I was always a bit the stranger that flew my own stuff. Like,
Sorry.
I like the damn Eagle, maximum DPS fitted, and Salok. Yeah.
And what about usually members like the ECM, the DEMS? What would you usually bring? I'm assuming that, you know, you would have a D-scan of your enemy fleet, understanding their concept beforehand. But in the case of an everyday roam, I would guess you would need some EWALs, so tracking disruptors or ACMs.
You mean like if I would fly an Eagle and a certain fleet?
No, I'm speaking of
against,
general numbers, or what type of ships you would bring as far as EWAL in a fleet of an everyday roam. Say you're a 10-man fleet. Would you prioritize ECM, DAMPs, FAMPs, Newts? Which one would you prioritize in terms of EWAL?
Well, I would like to have one shippy, which is a Falcon in the fleet. And of course, Logis, yeah, would like to have 2 damn Logis, because with one it's not enough, because like if that one gets attacked, he's dead. You need 2, at least 2.
Yep.
Then 2 scouts, and then maybe a quick hitter like an Eagle. So that's already, and the Dictor, of course. Oh shit. What are you without a Dictor these times? Yeah. And the rest DPS, fast flying ships, like now with propulsion though.
So,
but I must say it's sometimes hard to come by though, that everyone has that certain ship in his hangar, that you have the people online that have those certain ships. So that's all, yeah, well, mostly for bigger alliances. Like if you are a small alliance and you request certain types of ships, no, it's mostly you fly with what you have, and that's what I'm mostly doing these days.
okay, and so obviously the current times necessity for a good probing pilot is quite important in the small gang PvP. Would you have any tips or suggestions for somebody who's trying to start up as a probing pilot, or that would like to probe for a small gang group? Xancha, do you have anything?
Actually, that is one of my biggest weaknesses. I'm not a very good prober. What I recommend is there's always people that are very skilled in every alliance at different aspects of the game, and a lot of people in EVE, if you approach them respectably, like, they're willing to share knowledge. So that's how I learned how to FC. That's how I learned to fit solo ships, everything. So use people's knowledge to your advantage. This game has an amazing friendly player base. Utilize it.
Indeed. Okay, so
yeah.
obviously the advantages of probing can procure yourself a full D-scan of the enemy fleet and potentially a cloak eyes on an enemy safe point or something of the sort, which could lead to give you their potential fit and other items like that, which would also relate to knowing how to find your enemies. As a small game PvP, obviously you don't want to fight anything that you find. You're not really a meat grinder, you're just a cherry picker. So for a general group, what do you guys would go for hunting? Would you just go for the solo battleship, or would you rather gank those null-sec Care Bears?
Well, it depends, to be honest. Like, the thing is, like, when I fly, like, a small ganks, what you could say these days, well, yeah, it's a bit, how can you say, we plot out a course on the map, like the highways and Eve, you could say, like from the big bloblet systems and 0.0 to the other bloblet systems. You have to move fast though, standing still, and they're gonna catch you with twice or triple the numbers. But that's how you get the most kills. Of course, like on the highways, you now and then you have the lone traveler, a battleship here, there, whatnot. But moving fast is the damn key. Also about the probing, in the past we used cover tops to scout here, there, whatnot, and probe. These days, interceptors, yeah, like having a cover tops in the damn fleet. Yeah, well, it's welcome, but interceptors are so damn faster. Also, the probing takes time, so we want to move on, like, well, my fleets, like, quickly from system to system to the hot points, like in 0.0, like the map says sometimes 50 members there. You cannot depend on it, but it gives something about it. But it's moving quickly, yeah. And like probing takes, in my opinion, all that stuff is waiting sometime here, there, whatnot. By that time they are at their POS, docked up or whatever.
You like to go on the fly.
Yeah, it's I like the fast action, like the interceptors there. They are the catching dudes. They are crazy fast. Like they can scan the directional scanner quickly. Yeah, there is one in the belt. I think they warp there. They are there in an instant. They catch it, and the rest of the fleet jumps on top of it. So all that stuff. But probing and dropping that stuff, some guys do that stuff, but no. It's like if you like a fleet with 10 people, and this game as it is at the moment, the alliances have sometimes 50 in one system. You want to move fast, so that's the thing. Like passing the major systems and 0.0. At a fast pace, yeah. Not waiting for probing, but everything that passes along the highways. That's my tactic.
Sounds good. You talked some stuff about Eve highways. Could you extend a bit of that about how do you find your targets? Do you do any pre-research, or you're just going with the feeling?
Mostly with the feeling. It's like you know that there is a certain system, a station system, like that there are a lot of them. Like damn, today, oh shit, yeah. We wanted to, we actually passed two systems. I should check it, or whatever it was again. But the thing is, like they catch it up on us fast. We were too slow, and that's why I died. I only had me and a buddy and Fleeto, two of us. We just went for it, yeah. Like a roll of the dice. We wanted PvP. And so me and a Vulture and my buddy and Nighthawk just went there in 0.0, yeah. But like wherever you live in damn Eve, there are plenty of yeah, crowded 0.0 systems. At the moment we are living in Masakumon and close to Tribute. So Masakumon is in the Forge, close to, so you have the system OB, then P3, and then you have the system Tazy into M-O. Today it was camped heavily. So we took a detour, we went to BWF, I think, I might be wrong though. So, well, we quickly, yeah, so the choke point itself wasn't camped. 2 station systems we pass it, BWF, yeah. And then there was suddenly some, how can you say, quite some activity, and but it's like yeah, some, like a lot of the guys in my lines are a bit suicidal, you could say. They play this game for years and years and years. They are quite rich and they just want to play for, yeah, having action straight on, yeah. Like they log on and I want action right now. That's how they are.
So if people pay attention to the map I just pulled up on the stream, from what Meko was referring as a choke point, if we look right here we have the OB system that I'm pointing up with my mouse. OB is a choke point because it's a connection to P3, which is nullsec, and Hakkonen, which is lowsec, and OB is actually lowsec, it's 0.3, and you will have Hakkonen, which is 0.4. So the 0.4 connects to 0.5, so ships who goes from high sec to low sec will be weakened, if you may, when they jump into low sec, because they're easily pickable. You will often find the gate in P3 completely mass bubbled. It actually happened to me and Meko before. Another choke point you mentioned was Osa. Was it
from Tazy to M-O. That's the more dangerous one. Tazy to M-O, yeah. I'd rather go into P3. It's less camped than M-O.
So you see right there I pulled up Tazy. Tazy is a multi-system point and it pulls out into M-O, which is, again, it's a nullsec system, so people are more inclined to fight in nullsec because you can pull out bubbles, you can pull a bunch of other stuff. It's more easily PvPable, but TZ is the choke point between the Forge and M-O, as well as P3. You can clearly see it on the map. I just pulled up between Tribute and Lone Trek / the Forge. Those two are really the 2 choke points, so if you're looking for PvP action, these are locations that you can go and try to hunt in.
And also, if I can make a point, the thing is, like, if you go from OB into P3, like, you can make a small detour. It's only, I think, I'm not sure though, 12 jumps, and then you end up in M-O and Tazy. So you can cover some small, yeah, tour into 0.0, ending back up to Tazy. From OB going to Tazy, a small detour. You cover 2 choke points, and that's a good roam, yeah. But M-O is mostly the most dangerous one, so
hey guys, I just want to say,
I
just want to say quickly, I see a couple of questions coming up on the feed. I'm reading them, don't worry, they will be answering. But if you have further questions, just write them down for now, and at 45 minutes in, we'll be asking for questions, which you can ask us then, so until then your question might get answered, so just keep them noted.
Yeah, well, so the thing is, mostly I take few of us around there. It's like a roll of the dice, and that's like, I always call it, yeah, mostly suicide room. Because, like, how can, shit, like today, 2 against, well, I got not that much on my kill though, only 9, I believe. But thing is, yeah.
Alright, so, we talked about finding targets, utility members like ECM, EOR, all that kind of stuff, logistics. We talked about different type of doctrines like long range, flying caracals, flying the Gillas, or a Vulture tank. We talked... about the necessary stable fleet numbers recommended for a small fleet. We talked about ship setups, their fittings, active tanking, passive tanking, long range, short range, all that kind of stuff. Now I think that with all the information we've picked up, we can start looking at small group tactics. Do you guys have any tactics you figure out from the ages, or any kind of sort of tactics or way of doing things?
Cornel, can I, as a matter of fact, like I have a request, like talking about the fleet behavior.
Sure, go ahead.
It's like the FC, like I've been in so many, in a couple of alliances and corporations and all that stuff. But it's the mentality that sometimes behaves in the fleet. Like people pay for this game, they want to log on, they want to have fun. But I've been with certain people, FCs that are screaming like little children if something goes wrong. Like, I don't understand why they do that stuff, but in my fleets I always have respect for the people. Like, they make the effort to join your fleet, so yeah, they can make a mistake, but I'm not gonna start screaming at them and all that stuff.
That's a good point. It can become frustrating in small gang PvP, especially when every member is essential.
And morale is a huge thing. If people, especially if you're hurting for numbers, if you rage at certain people, that's just going to discourage them and they'll log off.
Yes, exactly. And I saw that a lot of times happening. As a matter of fact, I got I joined a couple of fleets and former stuff, and there were some. I said to myself, like, is that dude laughing, or like, I mean, is he shitting on everyone? I mean, he was screaming at everyone, like that we were his slaves and all that stuff. And yeah, I immediately pressed the button, leave fleet. I mean, we play to have fun. And that's yeah, shit. I'm out of words.
Alright, well, I mean, in here in RvB, it's a real mentality that we come in to have fun and just enjoy what we're doing. In OLSEC, of course, there's some different objectives, so people often tend to become more stressed during strat operations. But if you're FCing or leading a small gang, it's very important to keep everybody entertained. Usually small gang PvP are for fun, not for, you know, strategic objectives. You're not gonna die or lose anything if your fleet loses or if your fleet whelps. So yeah, try to keep it fun and entertaining for everybody.
Exactly, and maybe there are some listeners from Kadeshi Alliance there, and they know me for entertaining. I led some fleets there, and entertaining, like, when there is not a hostile fleet in range, we have our scouts, of course, so we can have fun on comms and all that stuff. When the enemy approaches, of course, comms needs to be strict and clear and all that stuff, and yeah, most of the time I would say some drunken fleets, and yeah, and I visit the biggest shitholes from the enemy that are available, and yeah, but thing is, everyone needs to have fun. That's my priority, and we want to accomplish something, of course.
Alright, well, on to our last subject for the night, scouting your hunting ground, the importance of pre-made bounce spots and ping spots. Obviously, as a fleet, having different ping spots from different gates gives you an advantage as far as... have you guys ever gone before and scouted different areas, either planets or places where you intend to engage enemies, and ran some ping spots, some bounce spots, or just even come into a cloaky and just camp the place to see what kind of activity goes through, who lives in the system and who goes around? Xantra, can you add something?
When I did that, it was more when I lived in Nullsec. There was just certain people that if you fly against people long enough, you can pick up on their habits, their ship preferences, fits. And there was this one guy that always used to come in cloaky stuff, his name was Weed Jones. I remember him because he killed a couple of my battleships in a stealth bomber because I was new and a scrub. And it really made me mad, so we got some of my corp guys, and we would set up different attacks because he always seemed to warp off towards the same celestials and stuff, so we were setting up ping spots where we thought he might land and things of that nature. For him, it's very important, like if you're planning to fight on a battle, like on a planet in RvB, it is very helpful if you have tacks set up at certain planets, so if nothing else, you can warp your fleet in on grid but off zero, so you can kind of take a look at the other fleet, kind of figure out what you want to do, how close you want to warp in, because every engagement is a little bit different, and having that extra even 10 seconds to figure out your strategy can be the difference between whelping a fleet and having a great fight.
Alright.
Yes, exactly. It's all about having fun. And as a matter of fact, I haven't told about a strange tactic of me that provided tons of fun. I mean, Cornel, you might know what I'm talking about. The wolf cry tactic.
No, I don't actually. Would you mind explaining this to it?
Well, I must say that sometimes sounds speak louder than words. So the thing is, our scouts had to do an audition. Well, in my fleet, so an audition. They had to, as soon as they, sometimes like in a drunk fleet, people talk through each other, and then, but when things need to get serious, there needs to some alarm sound, which was in our case a wolf cry. Yeah, I'm not kidding you, gentlemen, but the wolf cry there. So I got me some scouts, and they did some audition, and so everyone talking a bit here there as we are in warp. But the scout, as soon as he noticed that the fleet can be in potential danger, he makes the wolf cry. Cornel, can I make an example?
Sure.
Oh shit, the number of viewers might suddenly go up like crazy, but gentlemen, alright, the wolf cry. So when a scout notices a lot of hostiles and that the fleet might be in danger, then he went like oh, okay, yeah. Well,
Alright. I don't think I'm ever going to do that. But if someone wants to do it, I'm actually going to give him a faction ship. I will.
Well, I must say that the noise stands up above all the words, though. When they hear a wolf cry, they know that the entire fleet needs to be on their guard. And then, each time the scout did that noise at my fleet, everything went silent. Yeah. Well, some here and there a bit laughing, though, but they knew that, like, everyone had to be prepared.
Alright. Well, we're down to our Q&A, guys, so if you have any questions, just post them up on stream. We'll pick them up, ask them. There will be a delay because the stream is delayed due to the magic of internet. So, yeah, if you have any questions, we're waiting for them. Alright, so Masandatar asked, in a small gang, at what fleet size point would you require logistics, and if at that point do you want pairs of cap dependent legis or single cap stable ones? Xancha?
The big thing that I decide when to have Logi, at least in RvB I try and avoid it as much as you can, but sometimes you have to. I prefer having the cap dependent Logi if you're using slower ships. Like we had one fight where the blue fleet had basically just a few Dominixes and we had a couple Logi with us, and you know, we were fighting against a larger red fleet that had some battleships too. But I prefer, because if you're moving around a lot, it's harder for the cap dependent, like the cap chain ones, to stay together. and damps can play into that. So I actually prefer the single cap stable logi because they can, in smaller numbers, so that way they can move more independently. And if you lose one, it's not like losing both logi. But at the fleet point size, it depends on the amount of DPS you think you might be going up against.
I would say that if you're going to go nullsec, logistics are always a must. To my opinion, when I would go out roaming nullsec, I would always have logistics in my fleet. Preferably Tech 2 scimitars if they were available, otherwise scythe or anything that's comparable. And again, like Xan just said, it's easier to lose one cap stable logistics than to lose one cap dependent, because essentially you're going to lose the pair. So your cap chain might get broken. If you have 3, you're going to sort yourself out. But if you only have 2 logistics in a fleet of 10 people, you're going to want them to be cap stable or cap independent. And that would require logistics from anything that's sustained, that has a sustained amount of DPS. So if you're doing like a blaster thorax fleet, the DPS is good enough that you don't need more than 5 thoraxes. The rest can be, 2 logistics or 3 logistics and tackle and EWA. So I think that if you can manage to get a good balance in DPS, then your tank can come back into logistic ships. Do we have any other questions?
Yeah, as for myself, I would say like 2 logis and a small gang, that they there.
Also, Bandito98 asked us, how can you catch a cloaky camper T3? Mac, do you have any insights?
Yeah, putting points on him, yeah, shit. Well, a cloaky camper, if you cannot see him, I mean, you have to wait till he uncloaks, which means that you probably have to put in some bait first, so he uncloaks and attacks the bait, and then making sure, I would say, a damn couple of interceptors, yes. Couple of interceptors, bait, some good tanked bait, couple of interceptors, yeah. So he takes the bait, interceptors come in, go on top of him, yeah, that stuff.
I guess if he's traveling...
We killed a couple of others that way in the past, so with Kadeshi, yeah.
If you know a general location of his whereabouts and he's really just a T3 camper, I would recommend just waiting until downtime, because he's not gonna decloak until downtime. But after downtime, obviously his character is going to log off because the client will crash. So past that, he will have to log back in which he will be decloaked for a few seconds. You might be able to catch a probe on his landing spot or anything of the likes. Otherwise, you're going to have to wait until he moves around or jump through a gate or something like that. In which case, you can shit bubble the gate and have a bunch of scrambling interceptors ready for insta-tackle. And you'd really want to have your interceptors to be fitted for insta-tackle as much as possible, because the T3 is going to be warping quite fast, and if he is warp stabbed, then you're pretty much going to need more than 1 point on him. Do you guys have any other questions for us? Alright, well, I've got a few ships to hand out, so I guess, Xancha, you want to ask them a question that we've covered through the stream?
Hey, maybe they could, as a matter of fact, ask about how an Eagle Insta Pop is fitted. Holy shit, yeah. I mean, Insta Lock, Insta Pop, max DPS.
So a max DPS Eagle with an insta-lock?
The rails, yes, I mean for range. But it's a damn crazy beast to handle though. I must say, so here it goes. Yeah, well, the damn 5 rails. 250 millimeters. Then you need 2 sensor boosters with both scripts, 1 tracking computer, Tech 2. Yeah, it's all Tech 2, gentlemen. Both scripts as well. A tracking enhancer and low, 3 damage Tech 2 modifiers. And then I believe a micro drive and some shield extender, yes. Large Tech 2, if I can recall. And that one, like when I was in Kadeshi, so like they have their doctrines and they didn't like me bringing a Kaldari ship into an armor fleet and all that stuff. But yeah, it was a bit of a nuisance, but they are damn fine guys. So, but the thing is, like, yeah, well, each time. As a matter of fact, I saved a Titan once. So there was like the Alliance leader with his Titan. He was off the POS shields. I was there with my Eagle. Suddenly, a Dictor uncloaks, and he drops a Sino. So I insta-pop with him, but one hostile carrier got through. And yeah, there was a bubble as well. Yeah, well, we killed the carrier, the hostile carrier, but for all I know, there could have been like 50 caps going through.
Alright, well, guys, stream is about to end, so can I get Mass and Data to send a conversation with Cornel Azizora? Gonna link my name in the stream as well as Bandito. And if anybody else have a questions, then you guys please answer it, and we are here for the next 7 minutes. So I just linked my name. You guys can convo me, please. You too.
Alright guys, it's just, I just feel that it's really important that when you're fighting Outnumbered to not get discouraged and use basic tactics. Another thing that I forgot to say, at least in RvB, something that's useful is warp to a gate, drop drones, but stay at 0, so that you make the other fleet think you're going to engage, and then maybe pull your drones back in and jump through. That way you just split their fleet. I mean, in a minute, if the fight lasts a little bit longer, you might get blapped after the rest jumps through, but at least it gives you a fighting chance for a couple kills.
Sancho, you mean solo or with a small gang?
Either way, to be honest. You can do it with a small gang like that. A lot of times I make people think that I'm going to aggress even solo. But with small gangs, you know, if you do it like that, there's always at least the couple fleet members that are going to aggress. You know what I mean? Because the more people there are, the higher chance someone's not going to listen to their FC.
Yeah, that's the thing, like what I talked about before. It's like solo, I like to fight at the gates. You can get them aggressive, like splitting their forces, and that's what I like. So you do the same then, yes, and that's an awesome tactic.
Well guys, we got Masan Datar, who's getting a frigate, faction frigate. If Bantito wants to convo me in game, then he's gonna get one as well. And if you guys have any more questions, you might get yourself a faction frig for free. Also, if I can drop in some cool insights, me and Gazacha are coordinating the FC training for RvB, so I'm guessing this is more for our RvB audience, but I will be starting to hand out free frigates that are fitted. They will be T1 fit frigates or T2 fit frigates, so if you guys are in a fleet and you're a newbie or you want to just test out some stuff, then you might want to stay tuned, or if you see me online, or if you have some questions, don't hesitate in sending us mails or anything like that. This stream will be going up on YouTube. It's going to be RvB's brand new YouTube channel, and will be the first stream on it, so that's still going to be very nice. Yes, Iron Fist RvB still has a public roaming channel. It's we're doing RvB Gank, which is an event. I think it's every week or every other week, but that's a public roam that everybody can join to, and that is hosted by Mangala Solaris.
And one of the best things about those fleets, just throwing it out there since no one's asking questions, is it shows you at least what smaller ships can do in great numbers, which is always funny when you see like a longbow fleet just decimating other things.
Yeah, I exactly. I noticed that a couple of times, and like with their numbers, holy shit! I saw a couple of occasions that people there like had twice the numbers but smaller ships, and as a matter of fact, they ran over the damn bigger ships. Yeah. A lot of those situations also depends on like yeah, of course the fittings. Yeah, frigates are smaller, but also the FC primary target color. That's something that people really need to know. Like the primary target color, you have a primary target, you shoot at that one. You have a secondary. If it seems that the secondary is in your range, you can shoot that one. But the primary target, yeah, you shoot on that one. Because in the past I've been with fleets, people didn't shoot at just the target they wanted themselves. It's the primary targets that the FC gives. Shoot that one. Combine it firepower and you're gonna destroy. Well, have a way bigger chance, to be honest, than doing your own stuff.
And both of those concepts, I feel, can be applied to small kings very easily because, like with the longbow fleet, you're basically all can hit at the same ranges. Your FC calls out which ammo for you to use. So you're applying damage very well as a whole onto a single target, and like you said, if especially in the small fleet, if you're splitting DPS, you're gimping yourself so much. Because even if a couple of you are like, oh well, I'm just gonna do my own thing, it can end poorly because you don't have a lot of DPS, so you need to apply it well.
Alright, well, thank you everybody for joining us on this stream. This is the end of it. There will be another one on the first Sunday of every month, and it will be a different subject with a different guest. So stay tuned. If you have any questions, again, you can send us email, and we'll try to answer it as shortly as possible. Until next time.
And Cornel, thanks for having me on these comms.
My pleasure.